Welcome to Chatting the Pictures. My name is Cara Finnegan, and I'm a writer, teacher, and historian of photography.
And I'm Michael Shaw. I'm a writer, a psychologist, and also publisher of Reading the Pictures.
This photo has stolen people's hearts around the world, but there's a lot to this picture, especially culturally and politically, that one wouldn't naturally assume.
The photo was taken by Brent Stirton for Getty Images. Ever since Ndakasi, a 2-year-old mountain gorilla, was orphaned in 2007, she has been raised by humans, particularly Andre Bauma, her caretaker, who has divided his time between his own family and the endangered mountain gorillas in Congo's Virunga National Park. In this photo, we see Ndakasi take her final breath in Bauma's loving arms after succumbing to a long illness.
One way to read this picture is that it's a picture of what is sometimes called the good death. There's this idea that we all hope to die surrounded by those who love us, those who matter to us. The idea that we all would want to be able to say goodbye to our loved ones and to say thank you to the people who love us and who have cared for us, even across species. I think this is a moment that a lot of people can universally understand. Holding your loved ones, being with your loved ones as they near the end of their lives.
I imagine that this would be a very poignant image anytime, or if we had seen it 4 or 5 years ago. But with the pandemic, I think it makes it even more relatable. The idea of death in modern culture and Western consumer capitalism has not been one that has been that accessible. Death has been very much partitioned in our culture. So this photograph, especially after the last year and a half, is extraordinarily powerful, I believe.
And let's talk about those remnants of the pandemic in this photo. Bauma's wearing of a mask, his wearing of gloves. And these really invite us to think about the extent to which our close genetic cousin, the gorilla, might also be at risk in terms of the pandemic. This photograph really encapsulates the ideas of wanting to be with those you love at the end of their lives. It also, because of the presence of those pandemic markers like the mask, it highlights the extent to which so many people have been unable to do that. This photo also really taps into the human fascination with the gorilla. Humans share 98% of our DNA with the gorilla. So when you have the gorilla selfie that made this particular gorilla famous, or when we see this image of two creatures who cared for each other and who are together at the moment of death, this is also a picture of that literal genetic and evolutionary connection.
Not only does this photograph do that so powerfully and elegantly, but there's elements of feeling and love in this photograph that are really extraordinary. And the one detail I think that really needs to be called out in that respect is Ndakasi's foot and how it's grasping the foot of Balma. It's just so sweet. It's like it's better than a hug.
Strangely enough, this photo also signals a climate story in a way that we wouldn't necessarily see from the content of the image itself. The numbers of gorillas in this part of Africa have gone up in recent years, but the threat of climate change, combined with the economic downturn after COVID, means that people who live near the national park are in areas of agricultural decline. The pandemic has also hurt the kind of ecotourism that draws people to come and see the gorillas in the park. And so, ironically, the lack of tourism is also a potential threat to the economy of the area. So there's this loving, emotional photo has a really kind of complex social and political background to it.